Hi, everybody. I'm Chester Rushing. I play Tommy H in Stranger Things, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Hey guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. I'm so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today I'm talking to Chester Rushing, which you guys might know as Tommy in Stranger Things. Thank you so much for your time today, Chester.
Absolutely, Pat. I'm so grateful to be here. Thank you so much for reaching out. And I love your Hawkins AV. Is that a Hawkins AV Club shirt?
Oh yeah, yep.
Hey,
Hawkins Middle School. I got this when the series first came out. So this was from like 2016, right around there.
those are collectibles now.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, I got so much stuff like in the background. I got the green screen here, but there's so much stuff back there. Stranger Things is my favorite show of all time.
Oh,
Favorite
that's
show.
awesome.
It's just one of those series. It just has everything. Has everything that you could want in a series. And so it's just like every time there's been a new season coming out, it's almost been like an event for me because you have the trailers, you have all the cool marketing that the show has done over the years and then just all the theorizing and stuff like that. And so now to finally see it's coming to an end, which I love that they're ending it the way that they want to end it. They're not stretching it out or anything like that. But it's a little little bittersweet for sure.
Absolutely. I remember that, the Duffers in season one. I just remember how lucky we all were to be able to tell this story. And I just remember them and Sean Levy, the producer, showrunner, and I guess Academy Award winning director. He was like, yeah, we don't want to jump the shark. We want to really give it all the love we can, make the full story that we can possibly tell with all our like true, genuine passion and give it to people. And they were like, hopefully we get a season two.
Yeah. Yeah, back
I,
then it's obviously no one. So I'll tell you, because I've seen it's funny on Instagram and like TikTok, I see some of these reels and they're like, oh, the summer of 2022. And, that was like when some people jumped into the show. It's like, I remember I literally my first exposure to the show. I'm a super nerd, as you guys can't tell already at this point, but
same. Roll a d20.
yeah, I pick up a lot of like movie magazines, entertainment magazines, still do to this day, even though everything's available online. But I remember picking up, I believe it was an Entertainment Weekly, and they had the poster from season one in there, and that was my first exposure. And I loved that poster art. It reminded me of something by Drew Struzan. Love his art, and so that was my first thing. I was like, this looks really cool, just based off the art. And then the trailer came out, watched the first episode. By the end of the first episode, I was hooked. And it was crazy to see it that week too, because no one knew what it really was coming into that. It premiered. And by the end of that first week, my social media, everyone was talking about it. It was crazy.
It was really nuts. It happened for me slowly. Like I was at, I think, just at the dinner, and people were. I was just, I was bussing tables at like a Rockfish and doing like, acoustic busking gigs. I was getting paid to do cover gigs at restaurants, and then suddenly I was eating at restaurants, and people were like, and I was like, wait, it's happening, isn't it? And then somebody finally looked at me, walked up to me at the store, and went, I went to school with you, didn't I? And I was like, oh man, no, but yes, I get. Hey, I'm from the show. They're like, oh my god, oh yes, that's it. It's like it wasn't like, oh, you're Millie, or like It was like you're that guy, and then people were like, holy smokes. And for a while, it was like, wow. I just remember texting Joe and texting Chelsea videos of us in other dubbed languages going, wow, Tommy is way scary in German. That is intense. I
I love that. Now, what was like kind of your reaction when you first got the scripts? You were reading through those, and then can you talk a little bit about what your audition process was like for the series?
My audition process for the series was a little intense because I was like bussing tables at this place called Christina's Cantina. It was a really cool restaurant that was attached to a gas station here in Texas in my small town. And I got this audition for Stranger Things, but it wasn't called that at the time. It was called Montauk. It was like a code name that they were using.
Yep.
And then I went in and read for this for Netflix. And then I just did one audition. I said, this is never going to happen. Just have fun. And then they called me. They said, yeah, you don't have the job, but they want you to come out to the table read in Atlanta and meet everybody. And if you do that, there's a chance that they'll hire you. So I said, oh, okay. Are they going to fly me? They were like, no, you got to figure that out. And I was like, oh, okay. So I had like $1,000 and I used like $700 to go to this trip and stay in Atlanta for 3 days and like go to the table read with no promise of work. I came home and I was like, that was insane. I met Winona Ryder. I met David Harbour. We did the whole full table read. Millie was there. The press was there. Netflix was there. I was like, what's happening? And then I went back to like schlep enchiladas, and I was like, this is also rewarding. And I was like, and it would be so cool. And I was training to be the bartender at this place. And while I was gone, that opportunity went away. So I went back to work there. And then 3 weeks later, they called me and they said, hey, Chester, you got the job. I drove over to my now wife, but at the time was my girlfriend's house. And I went full on Ferris Bueller, full clothes into the pool. I splashed and just was like, oh my God, this is the greatest feeling in the world. And the next thing I know, as soon as I out of the water, I'm on set in that pool scene, man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I was gonna say reminiscence of the pool scene in season 1. That's pretty crazy.
That's where I woke up. It was like in a flash. It was red cameras, left, right, the best in the biz. And that pool scene, we had, I think, 2 takes, but we got it on the first one because we only had 2 sets of those same clothes. And once we were all in the water, it was also 45-ish degrees. It was freezing in the middle of winter.
Yeah, that is crazy. I mean, yeah, it just takes a lot of guts. Like you said, you spend almost all the money that you had to go to something that you don't know if it's not a guarantee. So you just kind of put it all in, they gave it your all. But hey, man, it worked out. Life opportunity of a lifetime.
Oh my gosh, it was so worth it. I just could feel this voice in me leading me there. It was like, look, I am a first generation American on my mother's side. My father is a veteran. His family's American. And so it meant a lot to be able to do this kind of thing for my family. And, I went out there with my whole heart and I asked the universe, I said, please, lead me in the right way. Because I don't want to feel crazy for believing in my dream.
Yeah.
And I'm just so glad it worked out. And listen, I've been doing acting professionally for almost 17 years. It's crazy. I don't know that many people that have been around for that long and just continuously working. I've been so grateful to work in animation. I'm working on 2 series right now. For that I can't really say anything about, but really grateful to be continuously working and creating with great minds and bringing special moments to people like you.
I love that, man. I know this was back when this happened. This was back in 2015, whenever you guys had first started working on this. But congratulations again, and just like all the hard work that you've continued to put in over the years into your career. Just congratulations. Crazy how one little opportunity can just kind of change everything for you. What kind of description did you get for Tommy initially, and how did you want to build the character out, maybe outside of what was in the script? Was there anything that you wanted to add to him?
Yeah, I really playing Tommy was cathartic for me in a way, but there was some notes that he was like a playful, bullyish type kid, and then there was one note in the script that says, as Natalia, well, I call her Natalia. As Nancy rounds the corner, she hears the cackle of Tommy H. And I was like, cackle? And I was like, everybody in my whole life made fun of my laugh. So I said, I'm going to laugh the loudest I can. And I was like, oh, hey. And it was like, oh man. And they The Duffer said, as soon as I heard that laugh, we knew it was you. I
It's crazy how
swear.
that works out.
One audition. Now that was not the same for everybody else. Everybody else had like 9 auditions. But
Yeah.
I obviously, supporting cast came in and really supporting guest star. Really, really grateful to be able to be on a professional show for my first time as a substantial part. Yeah, it was awesome.
Can you talk about the experience too? I'm sure you remember it pretty vividly, but just the experience of being on the set for your first
Oh
day,
yeah.
getting into costume and the hair and makeup and everything.
It was really special. Hair and makeup is my favorite place. All of you amazing people that work behind the scenes in a movie, if you're watching this, I love you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Shout
From
out.
the literal therapy sessions that we have while you're doing our hair and makeup, and I'm like, oh, I can't hold it together. They know everything. They know everything. Hair and makeup, they know everything. They're smart, and I love them. And they're also some of the caring, most amazing people. And you know, those grips and all the lighting workers and everything, costume, special effects. A lot of our effects on season 1 and 2 were practical effects, which I love. I'm a huge practical effects person. If you can have practical effects really good, keep the art alive.
Yep. I agree, man.
What the hell? You know what I mean? It's so
Especially with
special.
horror, I feel like it's something about like the horror genre, horror, sci-fi that
Yeah.
99 times out of 100, it's like if you can do it special practical effects, do it that way. Like I
Yeah.
understand sometimes you have to use CGI, but yeah,
And the
practical effects.
CGI team Stranger Things has, I mean, they are the best of the world.
Yeah.
They're incredible. I mean, I think, yeah, they've been the leading CGI company in the world for like many, many years, I think since Star Wars or something like that. And it's so special, but when you step on set and it's organic like that, season 1, I'm talking about, everything felt so raw. It was like it felt like really visceral, like we were all real people. It just and when we stood there on the set, there was hundreds of extras and background actors and just vintage cars and clothes from the time in a school that was built in that time period. So it was not very hard for me to go like, I'm here right now, because I was.
Yeah.
They made it so easy. Netflix made it so easy for us to step into our world and be those people. Tommy for me was cathartic because I was a very, very fun loving theater kid in small Texas towns. I moved all around the world, but some of those people weren't the nicest, and I used the moments in my life where I was bullied. I translated that pain into the character work. That's why sometimes people are like, that would feel real. It's because I was working some stuff out.
Yeah.
Okay. I was working some things out, and through that, it healed me.
I appreciate you sharing that too, Chester, because now as a fan going through and rewatching the series, now it's gonna just add a whole nother layer to watching those scenes, having you share that information. So I love little tidbits like that and appreciate that you were able to kind of work through that stuff as well.
Art is healing, whether it's, transmuting the things in our subconscious to a material form, or like just listening to music and escaping for just a moment. That's what I wanted to do originally. My dad, when I started doing theater, he had just gotten diagnosed with cancer at the time. And so I said to myself, if I can create some sort of work, when I watched my dad's eyes light up watching me do a play where I was leading, and he forgot all about his problems, all about his pain, for just a few moments, I said, if I could keep doing that, that's what I want to do. Because I was going to go to school to be a nurse, to be a doctor. And instead, my director, theater person said, how do you know that you can't reach more people by doing acting and theater and creating these worlds for people to heal their soul and their mind? You'd be a doctor of a different kind.
Yeah,
So I
exactly.
said, whoa, mind blown.
No, it's true though. It's like, I mean, you go to movies, you go to, watch these TV series, and you could have just everything going on in your life at the moment, going through a lot. And for whether it's an hour, 2 hours, whatever it is that you're watching this piece of art, it transports you to another world with these characters, and you can just kind of escape everything and just gives you this release. And that's one of my favorite things about, whether it's a TV, film, just being able to kind of be there in that moment and not have to pay attention to anything else that's going on.
Totally.
So thank you for helping, bring this life to, bring this series to life. And yeah,
If I could just be a small part of that, then oh, it's such an honor. Like, I don't have to be the lead, but if I could be in it to in some way, man, that's the reasons I'm doing it. All the other things, those are extra. And if people realize the work that I'm doing meant something, oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
it means a ton. I mean, this series, it's something that it's like I'm gonna rewatch this the rest of my life. We got this final season, but it's like something that I can just continue to go back to over and over again. You pick up on little details, introduce it to new people that are in your life, which I think is always such a fun thing. And yeah, I mean, it's no, this is one of the biggest shows for, at least for me, it's one of the biggest shows of all time. And yeah, to just be a part of that I'm sure that means the world to you.
Yeah, because going back to the art, it's like whenever I pull up like one of my sets of dice, like one of my sets of die. Please don't come for me, internet. I I go and roll these and go on adventures for hours and hours with my friends and play pretend because I am one of the people that love Stranger Things because it encompasses parts of me, my nerdy like love. Like I know somewhere somebody watching has a nerdy shelf full of cool pops and dope stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Mine's
I mean,
right over there.
yeah, that's me right behind me. Like I said, I got all kinds of that stuff back there. So that's me 100%.
So watching it and going, wow, there's like Dungeons and Dragons and like all of these like really cool things that I loved. Like it brought together the Spielbergian type of like filmatic
Yeah.
cinematography that I really enjoyed that inspired me as a child to want to be in these worlds. And like they kept such an integrity throughout this entire season, not to see it coming to a close of this part of Stranger Things. I will say there are probably more stories to be told. I mean, especially with the Broadway play.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah, that's something
I
I want to
mean,
check out for sure.
that's incredible. Like I would watch a whole series
I
on
know
that.
there's been talks of, I know there's been talks of spin-off. I think there's like some
Yeah.
animated series that I've seen that's like in the
Ah,
like coming out. So yeah, I'm sure
Netflix, call me, please. That would be great. I would
that that would be amazing. That I would love that. Netflix, come on, make it happen.
come on. This is a Neumann, please. I won't do it for free, but I will definitely.
Oh, good.
The acting is free. The acting is free.
Yeah. Now, Chester, so you guys, it was, you, Chelsea, Joe, Natalia, Charlie. Can you talk about just, just kind of working with all those guys and developing the bond and the relationship that you guys kind of had while working on this series?
We definitely grew a camaraderie. It was like, in the first season, it was definitely a little bit closer than it was the second season. The first season, we were going out to eat around Atlanta, walking around, listening to records, just kind of hanging out at Charlie's place that he was staying with his friends. And, like at the hotel, we would just like kind of say hi or, walk around and listen to music. I remember Joe was still in this band. Uh, what was Joe's Post Animal?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he was the drummer for Post Animal at the time, and he was got his first out there first like EPs mix, and he let me hear it on his iPod or his phone, and I was like, "Holy smokes, that's you!" And he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "Dude, you're an amazing drummer." I was like, "You should do your own music." He was like, "I'm thinking about it, but I don't know." Funny, right?
Yeah. Say, looking back on it now.
And I also asked Charlie, I was like, Charlie's an amazing drummer too. He used to be in a rock band. He used to be like really kick ass. I was like, dude, let's form a band.
Which is
Like
so fitting
they
for the
were like,
character.
it was like me being like Jack Black, like asking Jack White, would you be in my band?
I
We're
love
like,
that.
no. Well, I bet Jack White would be in their band now.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, so and like at the time, yeah, you guys you didn't know you were working on the series. You didn't know what it was going to turn out to be. It was going to be this huge pop culture explosion. Um, but yeah, I mean, and what scene, I guess, like for you guys, what was the of all the scenes that you guys did, what was the most fun that you guys had filming a particular scene? And then maybe what was the most challenging scene?
I think the funniest scene that we had was the cafeteria scene. There was a lot of scenes that got deleted because they were too funny. There was a point where Sean Levy came to me and was like, Chester, you are so funny. You can do whatever you would like. And for these next two takes, just do whatever you want. And I was like, can I start a food fight? And he said, he was like, I could tell in the eyes of that person, he was like, please, but at the same time, please don't.
Yeah.
And then the costume person, the head of costume department, I looked over and they were peering into my soul. They were like, don't you dare.
Don't you?
Don't you do it. And I was like, I had my hand over the mashed potatoes, my friend. Nay, nay, I say, I do not want that wrath coming upon me.
Oh, I can
Get
only
away.
imagine. So the cafeteria is probably the most fun that you guys had, and then
Oh, yeah, that was
what was the
funny.
most challenging scene to put together for you guys?
Most challenging scene. That's actually in season two. The most challenging scene was in season two because whenever we introduced Dacre's character, Billy, I'm holding him up over the keg and he's doing this like keg stand, but it's one shot. It's like I'm keg stand, cheer, cheer, cheer. They follow us, follow us, follow us. Like go through the house, party scene, people cross, cross, boom. It was like jump over the couch, do this thing, camera pan, drink has to spill, this thing has to happen. And I was like, whoa, I have to be here, I have to be here. And this, we had to shoot it all perfectly, like 10 times per, like, or I don't even remember how many times. It was like insane. It worked out, but like, even if it works out, they have to get different angles, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, wow, you got to do all of that same exact thing multiple times, which was really tough. And you don't think about that kind of thing because it's so fluid when it works. You're like, damn, that was awesome. And you're like, how does that work? It's like because we did it a ton of times. Like
Yeah, I would say I've gotten to work on. I've been like an extra on a couple films so far.
background actor, and that's where I started. By the way, everybody,
Yeah, there
years
it's
of that.
if you love film or television, because I know some people it's like, oh, like there's a lot of standing around waiting until it's your time to go on the set, but I was eating it up, just those scenes, just looking at all the behind the scenes action, making it seem like it's fall when it's in the middle of July and you're sweating and they're making
Yeah,
coming down. But yeah, that's crazy. That was all one shot that you guys got that in.
it's really, really incredible. Some of these people, they're geniuses of their craft. I mean, all of them are masters of their craft.
It takes a village too. It's like people like I
Yeah,
think if you're not nerds like us that are like either if you're working
yeah,
on the sets themselves or if you're just so involved you want to know all the behind the scenes stuff, you don't realize how long it can take to film just one little tiny scene. Like can take hours to put that together, whether getting different angles or if the clouds are covering the sun, getting the lighting
yeah.
right.
I've heard some directors. It takes some directors are so like big. There's, I think a few really big directors or one that I know of. I'm not sure of his name or their name, but they literally wait for the daylight to be perfect and like they'll reshoot multiple days. And this is a multi-million-dollar thing,
Yeah.
But they're Academy Award winner. You're like, how do they
You're like, let you do your thing, man.
do your thing?
Yeah.
Do your thing,
But it's
you
it's
know?
it's crazy. Now, Chester, for you, I
Yeah.
guess out of everyone in Hawkins, who do you think that your high school self would have gone along with best? You as a person.
Oh, that's a great question. Probably Barb.
Barb? There we go. Everyone loves Barb.
I love Shannon. She's so cool at the time. Probably because like my personality is more
Yeah.
like open to having friends like, creative. Uh I'm very, I love that. A lot of my friends love Barb. For a few of my friends cosplay Barb. That's so pretty fun. Um Probably Barb or let's see. Oh man.
Barb's a good choice. It's
I
crazy.
would actually probably want to, if not beg, to be in the Hellfire Club.
Oh, yes. Yep. That's
I
it.
would definitely. Oh man,
I got a
what an
Hellfire
actor, huh?
Club in the shirt in the closet over there.
That's where I would be. I
Okay.
love Barb, but if I could be in the Hellfire Club,
That would
all of
make
them would be
perfect
my.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah, with
I
you
mean, I
loving, D&D and D and everything.
Munson would be my buddy.
Yeah, Eddie Munson. And fingers crossed. It's like I know a lot of fans, there's been a lot of theories. It's like, will we see him pop up in the final season at all?
Well, I do know this in D&D. You could always put souls in phylacteries. Souls can always come back. There's multiverse. Wolverine was dead.
Yep.
Okay, Wolverine was dead until
Yeah.
they were like, no. So I don't know what's going to happen, but literally, you're talking about rules of magic
It's a
and
supernatural.
arcana. It's supernatural. Anything can happen.
Yeah.
But I do hope he comes back because I do love him. His character work is like really, really cool. I would love to meet him.
Oh yeah, it's
Uh,
great to see how
I've
his
never
career
even
has
met him.
taken off since Stranger Things as well.
He deserves it. He deserves that. He's very good at being a people person.
Yeah.
My friends met him in Brazil. One of my buddies is a photographer in Brazil. Her name is Cam. And they were so nice to them. They were like really nice to everybody. And I really enjoy people who are like actors on set, but when they get off set, they're like a person. You
Yeah.
know, the kind of person I strive to be like because in my professional career because the fans make you uh they're your support team.
Yeah.
They're the people writing you whenever you're in the midst of a dry period of no auditions and Hollywood's on strike again and now you actually secretly don't have a job and everybody's like, "Hey, keep going. We love your work." And
Yeah.
it's months of that. They're what keep you holding on.
And it's
And what were you saying?
I was just say it's the little interactions too. Like it's crazy how much just like you liking someone's comment on social media or something. It's
Yeah.
like a
Nice
little thing
try.
like that. It goes a long way with people for sure.
Yeah. I I really do try to like there was a time where I was like answering everybody's comment with a comment to where it was so many that they blocked me from talking
Oh
because they thought
yeah,
I was the app thought I was a bot. They were
yeah,
like, nobody, no way people do that. And I'm like, no, I actually, my thumbs hurt.
yeah. No,
My
there was
thumbs are hurting.
another guest that I had on that actually kind of did that same thing, and he had to take a break because he got like shadow banned or whatever from like Instagram for a couple days and had to slow down on that. So that is a real thing, which is like I get it to a degree, but also at the same time, it's like you guys are trying to interact with the fans. Like, come on,
Thank you, Pat.
chill out on Instagram. I totally hear you, man. And as far as how do you think an experience with the Upside Down would have changed Tommy?
You know, I think anybody that comes face to face with the mind flayer has a life changing experience. And suddenly, Tom Hiddleston said this: everyone has two lives. The second one begins when you realize you have only one.
Yeah,
And I think for Tommy, when he realizes that all of his problems, if he were to meet a mind flayer or a demogorgon or see that world that is very real that they haven't glimpsed yet, but if they were to peer into that world, I think that suddenly they would be like, yeah, what can I do? Can I do charity? Like he would instantly be like the night, he'd go camp counselor mode, I think. Because, or like he would defend himself and stuff, but I think that deep down, Tommy would be like really shaken.
yeah. Kind of like what we saw with Steve in season one when he gets introduced to the Upside Down, and initially he goes to run out because Jonathan and Nancy are in that house, and he goes to run out. He's like, "Forget this, I'm getting out of here." But he decides to come back, and that kind of begins the redemption arc of for his character. It would have been so cool to see both Tommy and Carol kind of get that moment and get that redemption arc for for those characters because they were kind of the bullies in the school. Would have loved
Yeah.
to have seen that.
I would have loved to see Tommy just eviscerated. I
Yeah,
would have loved to see him get ripped in half
yeah,
or just. Well, what do they do in the new season?
yeah. Oh
My
yeah,
my
yeah.
little my little my little niece. She, they were like ha ha ha. You're gonna be like Chrissy, and then she was like, "Ugh," and I was like, why are you letting your? Well, I was like, that's insane how you moved your neck like that. You should think about acting. I was like,
Yeah. No,
but I
that's
would love to see that, or even a little dart just come out of my chest like the
oh,
movie, like yeah, it's like rah!
that would have been yeah. I'm kind of
That would
surprised.
be amazing.
Surprised they didn't do something like that in season two, just with the Demodogs. I'm surprised they didn't have that
Yeah,
happen. But I mean, yeah, season four too was no joke. With how when that came out, I was like, holy crap, I was not expecting how dark it got with like the Nightmare on Elm Street references and yeah, I can only imagine what
it's
season five is gonna hold for us.
actually terrified me.
Yeah.
It was scary and full of heart. But oh my gosh, I was like, whoa, oh my gosh, man, that's insane. I mean, I couldn't believe some of the work they did was just really beautiful, horrifying, but
Yep.
so beautiful, right?
Agreed. Yeah, coming from someone who loves that behind the scenes stuff, I couldn't agree more. And Chester, so when did you? I guess we kind of talked about it in the beginning, but when did you know? What was the moment kind of for you that you knew that Stranger Things had kind of hit that pop culture zeitgeist? That this was a
That's
show
crazy.
was forever going to be remembered.
Oh man. Uh, I could see it in the eyes of the fans. I could see it in the spirit of hope.
First week, just going from something where it's like, oh, I thought this was going to be a show that I was gonna love. Maybe a couple of my friends were gonna enjoy, and that would have been cool. Some shows it's like has this like kind of like niche audience and have a couple
Yeah,
seasons, but by the end of that first week, all of my friends, it
it's
wasn't just like
empowering.
everyone was talking about it.
It was crazy to see how many people were then like, oh yeah, like CEOs of company, people that were like, oh yeah, and then embracing that maybe geeky or nerdy part of them and going, you know what, I need to embrace that a little bit more, or and remember, it's all just supposed to be fun. And I, I don't know when it was, like time wise, or like there was a moment, but looking back, when I look at all the Comic Cons that I've appeared at or that, hosted, and I look out at the sea of people and even at you, I can tell it means something. This crazy thing that we're all lucky to be a part of, this show, and literal hope it's brought to people. Some people have like, this is my favorite show. I've seen it multiple times. Or some people have just been like, I've seen it once. Or most people are like, I've never seen it. And they get to see it for the first time, all of it in its entirety all at once. That would be mind blowing.
Same. I can't imagine.
um, yeah, right. I just could see it in the eyes. Like they want to carry these stories with them, like the people, because Dustin, Mike, Will, 11, Hopper, Joyce, Hawkins. It's such a special place where the weird and the wild and the most insane things can happen, and the upside down can make you feel like you're right side up.
Oh,
It's amazing.
I will fully admit, specifically season four, I cried multiple times in that season, and I fully expect, especially with what I've heard, just with
Oh
different like
man.
interviews, like I know David Harbour, like I saw an interview with him. I fully expect that to happen in season five, probably on multiple occasions. I'm sure I will be a mess by the end of this season five. So
it's just such a wild ride to know that it's like we're wrapping it up. I got a tear coming from my eye right here. I
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, it's how long has it been for me? Like almost
10
it,
years.
10 years. Has it been 10 years?
So
Oh my
this
god.
will be not because I guess if we're going off like the premiere of like the
Yeah,
show 2016. So yeah, almost 10 years.
before.
But
Well,
you guys started
yeah.
filming before.
Oh my gosh, has it been that long?
I know. It's like what?
Wow, my goodness. Everybody else in the show they grew up. What
Oh yeah.
happened? I aged down. That's hey, I got lucky. Good.
I met Noah.
Oh yeah, he's
And,
a super cool guy.
it was right after the first season, so I met him when he was a
Oh,
little guy, like right, that first season.
right
I
off of
think
Charlie Brown.
a
It was Charlie
couple,
Brown.
I think it was, I don't know if it was three, maybe, that he had came back to another con that was kind of around, and he's fully grown now. It's just like, holy, I met Millie.
Super
So
cool,
yeah, it's
huh?
just crazy that we've gotten to see that core group of kids just grow up over
Yeah,
this past
I
decade.
just text Millie and her husband. I was like,
You're like,
I was
what?
like, hey, dude, I know they're married. I was talking to the backstage. I was like, congratulations. I was like, Ava and I have been married now. We're gonna celebrate 8 years of being together next week. So it's
Congratulations.
beautiful to see them all, having their own lives and living super fun. And it's like, yay, that's cool. That's
Yeah.
really cool.
And I love that too, that you guys have that bond, even from working on the show all those,
Yeah,
those years previous. What's it been like to connect with the different fans at the cons? I know you've gotten to host
amazing.
some of the cons. Uh,
Yeah,
you gotten to be like a guest at some of these different cons. So,
yeah.
because one of those things like years ago, you didn't really have, I feel like actors didn't really have that opportunity to connect with fans on like a one-on-one level that you do now with
Yeah.
those with social media. So I'm sure that adds like just a whole nother level to things.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like it's a lot of things that I never really would expect. I like somebody drew some of my my Batwheels character. I play Ducky on Batwheels for DC. And like people were drawing me as Ducky and going, "Ooh, I." They had like a whole cosplay or like I saw this one amazing kid that cosplayed as Tommy H, and they're like, yeah, they brought like my basketball uniform. They were like, you're my favorite character, and I was like, that is, in- it brought me to tears, man. I couldn't believe anybody wanted to even say hi to me in school. I was like, wow, that's so cool, and the fact that I could see and feel welcome and to see and create a space for all of our fans and the things we love to feel valid, it's like, it brings a tear to my eye because I was going to Comic Con before I was an actor.
Yeah.
I was reading, my dad read me Lord of the Rings to go to sleep as a child. Like, you know, he worked offshore. So when he came home, like he would read me those Tolkien books and like the fantasy worlds are like part of my best memories. So getting to create, spaces for these cool things and getting to be a part of them is just marvelous. And the fact that the fans come and they really do know more about your character
Oh, yeah.
sometimes than the actors themselves. Because there's fan theories and they're like, oh, it's like is Stami a thing? It's like you don't know. You never know what in the world is. People are like, oh, all these fun things that they're thinking of, and they bring them to you, and you're like, oh, I'm just lucky to be there.
They're so creative just between
Yeah,
the fan theories, the fan
yeah.
fiction, the cosplays that you see at these conventions are just insane. It's
I
like
actually saw this person build a full Demogorgon with an animatronic mouth that moved with their actual facial recognition. I was like, "Ooh." And they
you
were
have
like
a
a teen.
future in Hollywood, my friend.
They were like they had to be like 15. Their
Wow.
parents were like, she built this by herself. And I was like, what? I was like, yeah. I was like, that's incredible.
That's nuts. A
The
couple of years ago.
creativity it takes to be a cosplayer is just like
Oh
you
yeah.
need infinite creativity and a lot of glue and
And sometimes people are working on budgets too, so what they're able to put together with the budget
yes.
that they have too is just it's
Yeah.
I love it. I love seeing it. There was a couple years ago where I was at a con that was fairly local to me, and I was getting ready to get out of my car. We're getting ready to start the day, and I turn around, and this family, they're parked next to me. They're getting out of the car. You have the father dressed as Hopper. You have the
Yeah.
mother dressed as Joyce, and then
Awesome.
the kid was 11. And I was like, "Can I get a picture of you guys?" I just thought that was the coolest thing, just to see this whole family, all participating. They all love this show, just
Yeah.
connecting, and it's just an experience that they get to have with each other. It's so cool when you see stuff like that.
It's really neat because like you said, like I guess it's been 10 years. So some people that were like saw the show like when they were 17, they're like parents now.
Yeah. Yep.
And so they're getting to share that like new thing with the next generation. And I actually am seeing that that's like a new thing I'm seeing. I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, that's so wild. And then like
Yeah.
now my children's show on Netflix, The Mighty Monster Wheelies. Yeah, I play Rap Stretcher, getting to share horror to that like, intro level horror is like so special. So the second season of that just dropped. We're all the Universal Studios monsters inspired and put into car or vehicle form that we then save the day. So it's like really special and showing that, even monsters can save the day and fit in, and our whole world is full of really special things. And I invite people to check that out too.
That's something too, I think.
Mm.
You worked on Stranger Things, but working on these shows as well. These kids that are watching these shows now, they're going to grow up in years down the road. They're going to look back and be like, that was my first introduction to horror, was that show.
Oh my God. You think I cried before? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we're just
Wait.
all the tears today, Chester.
When that part like 10 years from now happens, I can't even imagine because right now I'm working on a series that I hope everybody will love. I can't say what it is, but I did find out that it will premiere in like 2027,
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah,
like
sometimes.
2028. I'm like, wait, what? And it's like, yeah, it takes a long time. But I'm like, oh man. So, you know, wow. I mean, there's stuff that is coming down the pipeline that I'm really excited to share, and I can't announce yet, but it is some of the most amazing animation teams that exist. So I'm really lucky, and I
Where can
will,
fans stay up to date with you, by the way, as far as
yeah,
like, moving forward with your career?
absolutely. You can find me at Chester Rushing, ChesterRushing on every platform, Twitch, Twitter. Well, I'm not on Twitter, Twitch and Instagram and TikTok, but
I'll
mostly
make sure
Instagram.
to link that down below so that way people can
Thanks.
stay up to date with you. But before we go, Chester, I did want
And
to, the
here on
last
YouTube, if
question,
they're watching on YouTube, yeah, it's also
YouTube as
here.
well.
Mhm.
Before we go, I do want to ask you, as far as like all the guests coming on for Stranger Things, just kind of go into fan theory mode yourself. Predictions for season 5. Do you have any predictions as far as like what do you think? How do you think the show might wrap up? Or as far as who do you think that we might lose possibly in this final season?
Ooh, what I think could really be awesome is if in the center of Hawkins, a portal just opens and Netflix lawyers come out with giant briefcases and they say, Chester, stop talking.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a lot of things where Will, a lot of people think that where it started with Will, it's going to end with Will. He might sacrifice himself or something. I
Oh,
swear to
man.
God, I'm so nervous for I'll say almost said Joe, Steve,
Yeah.
because I feel like it's almost every season that his character has almost died, and he's one of my favorite characters in the show, and
I hope he doesn't.
I'm
I
like, come on,
hope
like
he lives.
you've made it to the final season. Uh,
Look, here's what I do know. Here's what I do know. Imagine you're playing Dungeons and Dragons with the equivalent of like a Matt Mercer level DM who has thought of every scenario A through Z of how this could end and then did something else. That's what I love about this team. That's what I love about these visionaries. Whatever's going to happen, I don't think any of us are ready, and I don't think any of us have any idea.
Oh,
and I don't even think the
all.
actors know, because on the second season, only we got slivers of our sides. Nobody was getting full scripts. And if you got a full script, it was fake. So
Love that.
No one knows, and I love it because we all get to see it and go, geez Louise, that was not anything I thought would happen.
And I love too that they did it last season, but I love that they're breaking it up because for me personally, it's nice to. Don't get me wrong, I love a good binge, but I like spacing it out and getting to kind of digest it and just sit with it a little bit longer. So,
Agreed. I agreed. I
holidays.
agree with that. I totally agree with that.
Well,
I think, whenever they did the first binging drops on Netflix, like they were finding their rhythm, and now I feel like it's a little bit more comfortable, especially like with Stranger Things and things like Pokemon.
yeah, agreed.
Sorry.
No. Well, hey, Chester, I just want to say, man, it has been amazing getting to talk to you about working on the series, getting to get to just know you a little bit more. Such a awesome conversation, and you are welcome back anytime in the future, man.
Thank you so much, Pat. I'm working on a children's book right now, so I would love to come back and talk to you about that if you have time later in the future. Hi, everybody. I'm Chester Rushing. I play Tommy H in Stranger Things, and you're watching Pop Culture with Pat.